Every single day, I realize something further. Levi is a faggot.
A 42 for me to lose. I'll prove that I improved inside. You only moved a little higher, dude. I inspired you to get all fired up, riding on a spider. Levi hate him, make I win $500. I know you're trying with all your power. While I go by drip, you can barely up for showers. Now it's clear why you got that feature from that coward. Dog was trying to impress you like Princess Whiz and Bowser. I'm alive. I know your remix since I started riding. Whenever you are fight, I better use your mom. Man, try to rank high and smash. You can't top me, dog. I get ranked like Fox. You're like Donkey Kong. But you are no animal, could think about some Marty head. I be Moto while yo Jackie left you dead. Even after the sands and I beat you twice. You better be scared of anyone with animated ties. You can't see me, no matter what, you can't see me. World champ in a lot, cause these fuckers can't see me. You can't see me, you are gonna wish you never meet me. Same Doc and Rose, yeah, the stick is still weak. You can't see me, as a gamer only playing friends. Ever since I beat him looking at me, he ain't see red. Yet to me saying yellow, said the beef would spread. You two are besties, speaking blue shit got me dead. Cold ghost to suffer, had the best thing you spit. What possessed you guys to then become evil twins? You ain't no angel, tell me how the hell this even occurred, son. When you're positive, and now you're a so-called person. More of a joke than a rap, you on Nenner's up. Venom ringing ain't the only time you're hanging up. Talking all about your pegging, but it ain't enough. Poor excuses shit on you and what to make you fuck. Then you go from day to straight, I guess you weren't a fan, huh? But I thought you were so ugly that you had to stick to man. But I know you're still fruity. You got the orange shirt and scan here, and you're up inside the cheesy talking up from these bananas. You can't see me, no matter what, you can't see me. World champ in a lot, cause these fuckers can't see me. You can't see me, you are gonna wish you never meet me. Same Doc and Rose, yeah, the stick is still weak. You can't see me. You can't see me, see me. You can't see me. My voice is agreed, I don't know how this is fun. When I'm packing you up, more than you packing up guns. Don't show dad this, what would Jim don't say? Can talk like that to me, you'll be like Bossy K. Blowing so much shit, I'll still remain, staying ahead of ya. From blue to sunbrooks, don't you dare try to spread it yet. You're a bug being placed right inside my cage, and I'll cut you up like your hair, you better pray. But I know you wouldn't, got the scar looking like Kratos. Got that in your skirt fleet, wild potato. I've been here for a while, wins like you never see. While you were a fanboy, cosplaying Megumi. Losing poses at, got just 1 point on Astro. Better lower your ego, you're not close to S, bro. Last name like a wizard and face like a troll. Have to reach to break a spell to touch my low. You can't see me, no matter what, you can't see me. Fuckers can't see me. You can't see me, you are gonna wish you never meet me. Same Doc and Rose, yeah, the stick is still weak. You can't see me.
I did this while I was sick.
Yeah, shut up, Whiz. You're fucking weed.
I know I will not lose second time, man. He's got your lyrics, but needs to work on his timing. Money is fuck when he is trying to creep on dying. Wild style, hash, makes it go die. I know I will not lose second time, man. This time was solid, but grave, you carry the high, man. Money is fuck when this is not up, verbalizing. 9 whole times, makes it go die. Here we go, match up, I wanted the most. Hope this time you don't disrespect random messages for roast. Sorry, messages what they want, but the same ones also they don't. So I hope you don't get glazed. almost wonder why. No, I would not lose second time, man. He tries to scream it, it just sounds like he is dying. Money is fuck when he wants follow up, Christ, and why's that right? Mason gon' die. No, I would not lose second time, man. He's got his fans, but if Jerry's who you're inspiring. Money is fuck when he is stepping up behind and hide that lie. Mason gon' die. Take your mamas and you let the veggie stain. This kiki for Cougar Cooch, Mama Coco was in his brain. 99 to be your goons when I draw 9 in the pool. As a killer on the mic, you had it running from you. Looking at this, that's why the hell are you so close to me? You still don't have a lyrics award. You're coping openly, going into balance, belly button. These are so diverse to see. I'm a wannabe and well, they're who they are. You're supposed to be. Running back, no coming back. I'm popping off. Said you were trained to penetrate. That you prefer the kind of mind. Don't get out of that stand and give up a lot of shot. That's a little of a life. Every message is on a dot. Then it's sad. You say sucker people till you collapses out. We chop the shit, so why you put them like that? They said I animated, but now we all know what's in it. Feels like you're doing just as much. So where the animator at? Haha, you hypocrite. It's funny to see me bet you on what you think I do shit. Goes to me for messages that you mimicked and really meant it to mythic inside. They say you gon' die. They say you gon' die. They say you gon' They say you gon' die.
Perfect. 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 Perfect.
Greetings everybody, welcome back to YBB World Championships. Unfortunately my dog died, so I had to delay the episode by a little bit. It's been a couple days. It was a break for the first few days, but then I just got lazy after that, to be honest. But we're here now, and that is all that matters. Anyways, I'm kind of on I don't have the most time ever. So I kind of have to just I have to hop into this. I have till 6 o'clock. This is definitely gonna take longer than that because it's 5:36 and this is a very long doc. So I'm gonna be late, but it doesn't matter. My buddy Lincoln's coming over. That's why I have to be off. He can wait though. He can wait. Here's what we're doing. Mason, the animator, is first with vocals, which is 20 out of 20. There is a lot of 20s in this battle, as you guys saw. It was just a really good battle. I don't know what to tell you, dude. I think both of these people popped the fuck off. This is both of their best beatbox. Honestly, I think I would be willing to say both of these, like, in a vacuum. Well, I mean, these are great in a vacuum, but, like, both of these in the overall community, not based on the specific grading of this tournament. I think they're both S tier beatboxes. Of course, Whiz didn't get S tier just because of his beatboxing, but like, realistically, if we're not scoring it like this, y'all don't fucking care if it doesn't have great beatboxing. Like, we just don't care. That's just how it is, and I understand that. But unfortunately, because it does really matter here, he didn't get S tier. But regardless, I think these are both insanely good. They are some of my favorite rap beatboxes in the community right now. I love this battle. I love this battle so much. Anyway, Mason, 20 out of 20 vocals. I think these vocals are impressive as fuck, dude. it is absolutely perfect for the genre that Mason's doing, and Mason's raw vocals here they're just insane on their own as well. Like even if you put them in something else, probably not like a fucking pop beatbox, because like then you'd be bow. But like, sorry, but like they're just really good. Point is, I think he is really good pitching, like really consistent pitching, and he somehow manages to do that for the entire beatbox while performing the whole thing, delivering each word with like extreme power. Like, it's kind of crazy. The power of the delivery here is like for sure Mason's strong suit here when it comes to this category, because as already stated, each word, even by themselves, is delivered incredibly powerful, but Mason doesn't get too powerful to the point where it's unfitting. This is a problem that several beatboxers who go for this approach tend to have, in my opinion. So that's nice. This isn't even taken into account like the yelled vocals yet either, those are also just impressive as hell. These aren't everyone's cup of tea, and I completely understand that, but I find these to fit the beatbox very well in this case, especially as Mason only does it for like the chorus and to strengthen certain bars. So this helps to continue serving its purpose without overdoing anything, which strengthens the delivery even further, as if we needed that. But God, am I so glad he did. That is all only taking the raw vocals into account, and like there's a lot more. I'm only halfway done reading this category. So the layering here is also incredible. Mason's harmonies are subtle, but they're extremely helpful to the beatbox and made everything sound a lot fuller. These are also done even with the insane power, which I found to be really fucking impressive. This as well also is for the entire beatbox, but it's still not overdone. So that's kind of crazy. So the last thing I have to talk about here is mixing, which is, I do think it's a big thing to bring up in this beatbox. Not all of them. Sometimes in some beatboxes the mixing doesn't really do shit. But like, I think this is an example where it does. And the big reason is because of the vocal chops. I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but they're just really well done here. I don't know what else to tell you. I can see how this can be brought up in the other category instead, but I felt like it boosts this category enough, along with flow, which we'll get to later. I felt like it boosted both of these enough to where adding an extra point on top of this would just be overdoing the score. It'd be too much for this one thing. So overall, when it comes to an aggressive rap solo in the beatbox, this is everything you would want and more. So, yeah, I have to give it a 20. It's just really good. Then we got another 20 in lyrics, because of course we do. Unsurprisingly, I am very overwhelmingly impressed by the amount of research that went into this beatbox. Which, I mean, like, you gotta expect it because it's Mason. But, like, shit, dude, I don't think anyone puts as much effort into their research as Mason does. So, some people think it's creepy how much he does. I don't think it was creepy here, though. I think he kept boundaries fair here, while still delivering pretty insane shit. So good work on that. But anyway, that's getting into something later. We'll talk about what the roasts are later. Point is, the research is really good because the roasts are strong as hell, and a good chunk of them are shit that I've never heard before. Even like the Boris drawing, I've never seen that. I don't think anyone's put that in a beatbox against Whiz yet, which is kind of crazy because, like, what the fuck is that drawing, dude? How did you find that? No, but like, also that's not, that being there specifically isn't like in this. It's not in the doc because like that's just one lyric. It's just what came to mind as an example. So as I said, roasts are strong. Never heard a lot of them. But what's crazy as hell is that you gotta keep in mind this is Mason's second beatbox against Whiz. They fought on Hut. This is a rematch. And despite that, not only are these true for the roast, there's hardly any reused roast as well, if any at all. Which is like, I don't even know how you do that, especially against Whiz, because like it's worth noting, I think Whiz is like a somewhat difficult person to roast as well. Like, he has stuff on him for sure. Like, he definitely does, as you guys saw here. But I don't think many people would have thought that to like be to this extent until this beatbox dropped. Like, sure, Whiz is roastable, But what I have thought that you could have two beatboxes against Wiz with entirely different roasts and having really good ones in both of them at that, like, no, I would not have. So I must say I'm very impressed with the roast work here. I think when it comes to research, this probably just is the best in the tournament right now. I'm very impressed with the research and the roast is all so good shit. As for the writing, this is no different. It's amazing. It's Mason. This just sounds like glaze, but I promise it's not just blind glaze. But anyway, this beatbox is an entirely rap beatbox, yet every single lyric is incredible. Every line is a jab at Wiz, it ties into another one well, and they're all just clever as hell. Like, if you pay attention, you'll notice that quite literally about half the bars in the beatbox have wordplay in them, and it's good wordplay at that. Like, I couldn't give you a specific example because there's like a fuck ton of them, but like, if you just listen to the beatbox and look a bit at how the lyrics are written out together, you'll notice it a lot. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, point is, it's insane how good the writing in this beatbox is. I don't think it could get better than how it was written in this. Nobody could rewrite this and make it better in my opinion. Now, not only that, the rhyme scheme is fucking insane. I don't talk about rhyme schemes a lot. In the doc, there's a picture showing this. Mason, show your rhyme schemes real quick. I have a picture in the doc again. Show that. So, these are just fucking crazy, especially in the first verse. It stays really good through that, but like the first verse especially is insane. Dude. Point is, I have zero problems with even a single line in this beatbox. And just everything related to the lyrics in this beatbox is top tier. I think this is the easiest one we've had to give. Beatboxing, 18. This is the only category that didn't get a 20, which is kind of ridiculous. But it is what it is. I think Mason's beatboxing is incredibly overlooked. Mason is solid as hell at every part he can be when it comes to beatboxing, in my opinion. First of all, the sounds. I think this is a very impressive sound set when it comes to YBB standards. The sounds Mason presents here are tongue-based, which I still can't do. He has zippers, click roll, and even inward bass, which is like, goddamn. Now, this is a very important thing to mention here. Not all of these sounds are all that clean. And this is a problem that we'll talk about more in a little bit. But do note that. But I do think having these sounds at all is like huge for community standards. Like, really, really big. It's also worth mentioning that all of these sounds are used in combos. They're either combined with solid basics or themselves or both. So, good shit. It's also a major plus that Mason doesn't overdo himself or mess up these patterns despite the difficulty of them. So yeah, as for usage, this was very good as well. Firstly, as sound sets like this typically have been doing, this sound set works incredibly well at strengthening the power and overall quality of the instrumental. Strengthening the power is important as well because this is just a very powerful beatbox as a whole. Like, as we talked about with the vocals. But this especially goes for the combos as well. They're incredibly complex, but they aren't random either. Each sound is comboed together in a way that specifically enhances what's currently going on in the beat incredibly well. And I found this to be like, it's just really impressive. Good shit. This is also a category, like another one, where I think mixing is important to bring up. Firstly, automation is used in a way to make the most out of his sounds, which is smart. I could go into detail into that if you don't know what automation is, but then we'll be here for a very long time. So if you don't know what automation is and why this would help, please look it up. But the biggest thing about the mixing here is well, for me at least, was the zippers here at this part. So the beatboxing here has the perfect filters on it to create a texture on his zipper that you wouldn't normally be able to make either way. So a zipper will traditionally be like, now my zipper's not the best, but like that's what usually it's going to be, and I think my zipper is better than Mason's, but like It's the same sound. It sounds very similar, point is. But getting the texture on it, which you guys just, the clip was just played, getting that texture on the zipper, it's just not something you can do. That's not humanly possible. So the mixing being good enough to give it this texture it's impressive. Yeah, I've been saying that word a lot, but it just sounds really good. It's very original. That's what you like to hear in beatboxing. Even if it's enhanced by mixing, I still think that counts towards that, like, very well. Because, like, again, it just sounds good. I'm sorry. So the big reason why this is important is because I think if you took that section and if you got rid of that filter and it was just a regular zipper combo on top of all of that, I don't think it would have been fitting beatboxing. I don't think a zipper sounds very good on top of all that stuff going on at the moment. But with the filter on it, all of a sudden, it sounds great on top of everything. And it's because of the texture. And that's why I'm very impressed by the mixing at this specific part, and why I thought this part specifically was important to bring up. I can't stress it enough. I thought it was a sound effect when I first watched this beatbox. Good mixing. Overall, this is an incredibly strong sound set. It's high skill compared to the community, and the usage is very, very good. It's everything I could ask for. But what holds us back from a perfect score, as we talked about earlier, is the cleanliness of the sound set. So it's still impressive to have these in the community at all, as I already said. But like, the reason this ended up deducting 2 whole points is because even with that, there's only so much this sound set can provide if they just don't sound as good. But at the end of the day, this is an incredible category. It's an 18 out of 20. Flow, 20 out of 20. Another one. This actually might have been an easier 20 than lyrics. I don't know. The flow is quite literally just perfect in every way. Firstly, the flow is incredibly precise and complex while still flowing incredibly smoothly. That's hard to do. Good shit. Mason also executes this quite literally perfectly without missing a syllable. Keep in mind, this beatbox is all rapping, by the way. Anyway, what really seals the deal here, like, that already would probably be like a 17, 18, like, by itself. But, like, again, what really seals the deal is the flow is completely original, like, all of it. From every verse to even the chorus, it's all original. It's from the dome, not a song. The only real remix here is just that Mason used the beat of another song and used the words "can't see me." That is basically the only thing taken from the remix. So that's just honestly unbelievable. Thinking of like a flow like this is already crazy, but being able to execute it as well as Mason did is insane. Like, dude. So this excelled as much as it possibly could have while being completely original. I got nothing else to say. It's perfect. Transitional vocal chops, by the way, were extremely smart. What I mean by that is like vocal chops in order to transition things into another part of the beatbox, or just for in-betweens. It really helped out the flow of things, especially in the chorus, obviously. But yeah, that's worth a mention here as well. So that makes it original flow, very good, and more. And there's nothing in the other category. Vocal chops could have been considered here, but again, they helped out flow and vocals enough to where that would just be unnecessary. I didn't actually write down the total score for this yet, but that is a 78 in mid-S, which is, I don't even know what to say, dude. Good shit. Whiz! Blech. Whiz! 20 out of 20. These are just perfect vocals for this beatbox. For this beatbox. That's important. Basically, every single word here is pitched between each other so smoothly. It's honestly crazy difficult to be this consistent, especially when you're rapping for the entire beatbox. What makes this even more impressive for me is like that not only this, but Wiz still delivers each word with like a lot of power and emphasis. Emphasis is very important in this beatbox. I don't always dive into it for a lot of beatboxes. I think this is the first one, but Wiz having the emphasis on every single syllable is really worth noting, especially since it's delivered with all the pitching power and all that. So what do I mean by this? So what I mean by putting a lot of emphasis on each word, even with all that, is it just furtherly enhances the power and emotion delivered into the performance overall. But more importantly, it makes the rapping so clear. And it also really helps the flow of things. It makes things go by way smoother because you can hear everything really clear. This is also, Wiz has an amazing mic that helps as well. He didn't, but now he does. So, good shit. Anyway, everything is clear as hell because Wiz's pronunciation and emphasis is perfect. Like, literally perfect. I didn't have problems with Mason's either. I don't have problems with anyone so far, except for Lucas saying muscular. But that's because he's, like, Spanish. So anyway, point is, it's clear as hell. Makes me smooth. And as a result, I think I could listen to this whole beatbox, like, on the first listen even, without any lyrics on screen. Which there basically wasn't, because if you watch this on Wiz's channel, the quality sucks a dick. I don't know why you exported it at like 360p, but you did. Well, the point is, I could listen to this without seeing any lyrics for the first time, and I could still fully understand every word. Like, it's just really good. Anyway, that's just for raw vocals. Next is layering. I don't have a lot to say because there's typically only 2 vocal layers throughout the entire beatbox, but I don't think it needed more than this though. But I think that was just the right amount. So the layering is incredibly consistent and good for what's here, but what's more important is the style of this beatbox definitely would have been very cluttered if this was like, if there was any more than this amount. So I think this is perfect, and I think it was executed perfectly. I'm impressed. Good shit. So the only other thing to mention is mixing here. We have to mention mixing and Wiz's vocals as well. Both of you guys did really good. Now, as said earlier, I don't always mention mixing because a lot of beatboxes they just have acceptable mixing. But I think the mixing here is exactly what it should have been. So firstly, Wiz's new mic, as stated earlier, helped a lot. But not only does the mixing just sound good, I think this beatbox uses an incredible use of automation, especially for volume. So I know volume is just a standard for the community. You want your volume to be good. If it's not, then it's literally unlistenable almost. But like, it's usually not worth mentioning. But the use of it here helped Wiz make a lot more out of his layers and ad-libs in a way that helped him strengthen the beatbox a lot. It gave him more opportunities to add more to his beatbox without cluttering it, which is, that was smart as hell, good shit. So overall, it's pretty much just perfect. This category, I don't think could have done any better. It's a very well-deserved 20. This is exactly what I want to say this is like a classic rap style beatbox. These are the perfect vocals that you would have for this style. It's really good. And now, lyrics, which is a 19 out of 20, as always. First, we start with the roast. I want to address something, and the most obvious problem with the roast here, and honestly just the most obvious problem with the beatbox as a whole, which is a sizable amount of the roast here are just completely rehashed from Rev Free. So in Wiz's defense, Rev Free, when it wasn't being like fucking terrible, had some incredible roast to it. So using roast from here, that beatbox, it's not really a big deal. I get it. It's hard not to steal those. But the problem is how much roast came from it. It's not the fact he took some, it's just how much he took from it. And that leads to a lack of originality for a majority of roast here. Well, maybe not majority, but for like a lot of them, if not the majority. Now, this wouldn't be a big deal against like less roastable beatboxers. Like if literally all of your roast on like Bishop or something came from another beatbox, I couldn't even be mad. Bishop's fucking unroastable, so like I get it. But you're fighting Mason the Animator. Like, I'm sorry, but like, no offense to my dog, But this dude is like one of the most roastable people in the community. Like, you don't have to do this. So I think what happened here is there wasn't a lot of research here. I think the research was lazy, and I do think it shows. Now, here's the thing. I'm just being a negative Nancy right now. The lyrics still got a 19, and I have reasons for that. So, the thing is, credit where credit's due when it comes to roast. I think all the roast that Wiz did find himself, or if he didn't, then, like, he got it from people. But point is, the roasts that are here that weren't from Rev Free, I think, are very, very good. So, a good amount of this is, like, some of it's pretty given stuff as well, but I do think there's, like, a hell of a lot of good polls here, and I did find myself learning a handful of new information here about our friend Mason. So, overall, I do think the roasts are just above average, or even just average, I don't know. It's one of those, but they're all incredibly strong, like, for real. Every roast in this beatbox is strong. It's just not but the problem is most of it's either common knowledge or just taken from Rev Free. Anyway, the savior of the category here is the writing. So sure, Wiz had a lot of reused roast from Rev Free, but he made much more impressive bars of it. like a lot more. Rev Free doesn't have the it's not badly written, but it's nothing spectacular. But in this case, it is spectacular. So this does a pretty good job at making up for the originality issue I had, and it does also strengthen the other roast by an incredibly sizable amount. So, speaking of the writing for the roast, nearly every lyric was both a roast and featured strong wordplay, and tied into each other lyric so incredibly well. I don't think there's a single line of filler in the beatbox. And by the way, same thing that we brought up for Mason. The rhyme schemes, put them on screen for Wiz, they speak for themselves. The entire beatbox like this. I really do think this is like the most impressive rhyme scheme in like the entire community. So overall, this is almost perfect. It was really upsetting not to give this a 20 just because of like how good the writing is. But, like, the problem is, it's lazy research, man. I can't, if there's a problem that drastic with a beatbox, no matter how good the rest of it is, I can't give it a perfect score, unfortunately. But Wiz worked with this way better than what I think anyone else in the community have. It's so close to perfection. It really is. Anyway, I think if this category did not exist, Wiz would have gotten S tier very easily. Like, it really would have, because he got a 9 out of 20 in beatboxing. He still got A tier. Getting A tier with a 9 in a category is kind of insane, but Wiz did it. But anyway, I had a really hard time judging this. This is the hardest time I've had judging a category in the show so far, because the beatboxing, it's so fucking bad, but it's also really good, and I'll get into what I mean by that. Starting off with the sounds here, there's only one sound in the whole beatbox, and I mean this very, very literally. Matter of fact, there's not even a kick. There's not even a. There's not a. There's not a. There's nothing. The sound that Wiz does do is a. That's it! Anybody in the planet can do this sound. And to make it worse, there's no combos or anything either. Unsurprisingly, because there's no basics, as I said. But, like, there's no combos. He just kind of makes this sound sometimes. That's it! That's all he did! Why? Why would you do that? Anyway, it really does make me sad. So, here's the thing. And here's what made it so hard to judge, even though the beatboxing sucks balls. And that's the usage of it. So the core thing that we have to look at here is the style of the beatbox. If this was like a really upbeat beatbox where this sound would literally not do anything to the beat or anything, this would have got like a 0. It would have got a 1 probably. But here's the thing. It's a very classic styled rap for the entire beatbox. So the first reason why this is important is because there's just not a lot of room for beatboxing in this in the first place. If you did have a lot of beatbox, then it wouldn't really be as chill anymore. It wouldn't really have the same vibe to it. It also would have been cluttered as hell, by the way. So I think, even though the sound here is like basically nothing, I think the simplistic choice of beatboxing, it was not a bad idea at all. I don't think that was a bad idea. Now, of course, this has its own problems because you so easily could have just included some drums or something as well, like a... It could have done something else. But what we do have here still works very well. Again, it's hard to score because it could have been so much more. But in this kind of beatbox, how big of an issue is having less anyways? Now, sure, this being like having less being a good choice for the beatbox. It's not the only reason I bumped this up all the way to a 9, which is like, given what the sounds are, is like a pretty generous score. But the real thing is, like, even though he doesn't really do the sound all that often, when he does, I think it was used in quite literally the most perfect way it could have been. So the sound, it's not that good. The usage, only sometimes. But when it's there, it's so good! It's so good! It sounds so good in the beatbox, dude! So, why? Why does it sound good in the beatbox? It's because the sound, firstly, it just works incredibly well with the solo. It matches the beat almost perfectly. Like, you could honestly make the argument that this sound sounds like it's part of the beat, because it really does. Now, Wiz only uses this for some in-betweens, and most importantly, to differentiate verses between others, despite having a very similar flow for the whole beatbox. And this does an amazing job at preventing a lot of the beatbox from just sounding like the same thing for the whole thing. In fact, if this sound was not here, there's a chance Wiz wouldn't have got a 20 in flow. He would have, like, because the flow, again, it's very similar for the whole beatbox, but it's because the sound was through in that the beatbox still doesn't sound similar. And because he did that, the flow's perfect. So I think this sound was extremely important for the structure here, even if it's not much. So anyway, that by the way, having like a similar flow for the whole thing, it's an issue I've had with Wiz before. A couple of Wiz beatboxes sound like it's the same thing for the whole thing, which is like, eh. Anyway, as I said, it just fits incredibly well on top of the beat. So, but like, trust me, the beatboxing, despite the minimalism, like, this solo sounds surprisingly different without it. So like, when you'd hear this, you'd think like, yeah, that's perfect usage, and it is. That's the thing. But the problem is when this is just the beatboxing is just this sound. Like, there's only so much I can do. Because remember, Wiz didn't use a single other one. So like, this does lead to there being a lack of beatboxing in places where there should have been. Sure, these parts didn't like this sound, but like, they absolutely lack some drums or basic combos where they would have been excellent for the beatbox, especially the ending. So this is incredibly hard to score because what Wiz did was perfect. It was perfect. Everything down to the last minute detail. But he just didn't do enough. He did hardly anything. So that sums it up. 0 points for the sound, but the usage of it is literally perfect as you can get, which would be like a 10 out of 10. But he didn't do anything else besides that, which is another deduction, especially when needed, by the way. So overall, it's hard to say. 10 out of 10 usage. It's like someone needed 0 points for skill. So I thought the best way to balance that between each other was with a 9. Man, Lincoln's gonna be pissed. Flow, 20 out of 20. So it goes without saying that Wiz has some of, if not the best flow in the community. So this dude raps throughout the entire beatbox and using a very complicated flow as well, and without missing a single syllable. He doesn't miss a delivery once. So this is already basically top tier. I shouldn't have to say anything else. And then we get to originality. So Wiz put his own spin on the remix's flow, and while he didn't change it entirely, he swayed it by adding So Wiz put his own spin on the remix's flow. So while he didn't change it entirely, he swayed it by adding or just mixing up some syllables, and this let him turn the remix's flow into his own, even though he didn't directly change it. So not only this, but Wiz managed to use this to his advantage for sure, and edited the flow to give himself the opportunity to add more bars, which as previously stated in lyrics, he did. So while this is a similar flow to the original song, Wiz's touches on it, his own touches on it, still lead to an overall more original flow to the beatbox, and while it's not as impressive as thinking of an entirely original flow like Mason did, this is still absolutely a feat. Like, that's impressive, not everyone can do that. So typically, to get a 20, you need great flow while being almost entirely original, but Wiz, even though Wiz is just mostly original here, the thing is, you have to keep in mind that this is one of the most complex flows, like, in a community beatbox. I believe if Wiz did have an entirely original flow, it'd have only downgraded the complexity of what he could have shown here, of what he did show here. So I think the route of instead adding to the original and making an alternate flow out of it was the best choice he could have made here, because again, the flow is just perfect. It was perfect. Anyway, that combined with, again, literally one of the most difficult flows in the community makes it a deserved 20 in my opinion. So I will say I think Mason had better flow because of originality. But keep in mind, these are scored in a vacuum and not compared to how their opponent did. So despite this, that's why Wiz still got a perfect score despite Mason's being better for me. And that gives Wiz a 68 out of 80 and a low A. That's about it for this battle. I'll see you guys next time. Mason, my editor, put a secret in this video. I don't know what it's gonna be. In the judging, of course. Put a secret somewhere. Show me what it is after you put it, and whoever finds it, the first person to DM me with it, like showing proof that they found it, the first person who does it will get something. I don't know what it is yet. You'll get something. Bye, everybody.